Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to this chapter of the MOOC, which is called Successful Proposal Writing. I am Sonia Martel. I am researcher and project manager at ICCRAM, University of Burgos, Spain. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this topic. In this chapter, we will talk about initiating your collaborative project proposal in case you are leading one project proposal in frame of Horizon Europe. We will also go in detail about the main aspects of proposal preparation and the writing, the technical part. I will give you some steps and tips to go ahead, and then we will speak about some transversal topics to be considered. Then let's say that you are initiating your own collaborative project. You have an amazing idea, but then you have to take into consideration that you have to cover the funder ambition, and then you have to be clear, concise, and impactful in the writing, and you have to be easy to read, easy to support. But this is not everything. This is about the 20% of your project proposal. Then you have to give an important contribution to the power of the consortium. You need to identify the key players, complementarity regarding expertise, geographical area, and legal status. And of course, you need to have a good mood within the partners. Also, you have to consider the accuracy of the budget, which I think it means about the 40%, the other 40% of your project proposal. It needs to be credible, aligned with the activities, and balanced. When you come into the proposal writing, you will discover that this is a project itself. You will need to identify the consortium, write the technical part, describe the budget, and then define the administrative part. When you're going to define the consortium, you will need to identify in the call what is relevant, what research areas can you cover, and what areas you cannot cover, and where you will need the contribution of some other partners. When you detail and map these areas of expertise, you can start drafting what contributions you will need and what will be the key players that will be more interesting to collaborate to your project. Then you can see your direct contacts and see if you have already contact with these institutions. And also you can go into the European Union portal, and there is an area where you can find interested partners in the call you're going to apply. When you're talking about the technical part, you will define the excellence and impact and implementation of the project. Then you will consider all partners that should contribute to each part, providing what they will do in the project, why this is scientifically and technically beyond the state of the art, why this is aligned with the scope of the call, and address the European societal challenges. For these processes, you have to be sure that you clearly state the contributions for each partner. You have to name the work package leaders and rely on them to structure and collect all the information. Check the coherence, relevance, and impact of the draft and share it with experts that will provide you information and contributions of a review. Regarding the budget, you need to consider that it must be in accordance with implementation. You will need to describe the personal cost, the travel, equipment, and other goods and services. Here, you can go into the detail of the cost incurred and the cost of laboratory material, experiments, software licenses, etc. Always check the funding rules of the call and build the budget in accordance. Regarding the administrative part, you can choose if you would like to input the data of the partners or they can enter in the platform themselves. So then here you have to consider the expertise of the consortium and avoid last-minute stress. So if you think that it will be more useful that you are in charge of updating the information in the portal, you can do it yourself. Last, I will leave in the reference documents area a link to the do's and don'ts document provided by the European Research Executive Agency, so you can rely on it for this guidance. When talking about the technical part, I will advise you to bring order to your ideas. So before starting writing, you have to know the framework, know the funder priorities, have a global concept of the project, and have reference documents about the funding rules. You have to cover all the critical aspects with specific activities within the project. Then you have to master the subject, read before writing to understand the background of the area and the added value that you will bring with your project. Know the related projects already funded. You can find them within Cordis platform. And then you will need to consider not only the state of the art of your field, but of the whole project. Also understand the TRL. Justify the TRL of your project. This is very important. See if it is in accordance with the goal, and if not, see what you can do to fit it in terms of new partners or activities to cover the gaps and meet the required level of implementation. I will go a little bit into the detail of TRL. So for those who still don't know about the technology readiness level, I will explain you that it describes the level of maturity of a particular technology under development. Briefly, scores 1 to 3 describe an early-stage technology from first principles to an experimental proof of concept. Scores 4 to 6 describe the validation and demonstration from lab to a relevant environment of the new technology. And then scores 7 to 9 are obtained when the technology is already demonstrated in a real environment. It is qualified and finally ready to be launched into the market. So then you will need to position your project idea within this technology readiness level, and it has to be in accordance with the goal you're going to apply for. If you go into the technical part B, you will see that it is structured in 4 chapters. The first one is the executive summary. This one is the last one to write. You will need to include why, what, how, when, and where, and who will be doing your project proposal. Pay attention to the keywords because they are very important because the panel of evaluators will be selected regarding these keywords. Regarding the excellence, impact, and implementation, these are the 3 chapters that you will need to cover within your project proposal. For the excellence sections, please define the objectives, including the key performance indicators of achievement. Also include here the methodology that you will apply and mention the state of the art and how you will go beyond the state of the art. For the impact, show how your proposal address the expected outcomes of the call. You will need also to explain your communication and dissemination plan. Here you will have a detail in following chapters, and you will need to include the intellectual property rights to maximize the impact. And finally, in the implementation section, you will need to describe the structure of the project, the work packages and tasks to achieve, and the related goals within the time frame. Include deliverables to demonstrate the achievements and identify milestones, risks, and the contingency measures to avoid these risks. Finally, there are some transversal topics that you will need to address within your proposal. You will need to talk about the innovation management. Here, please describe the environment to boost the interaction and synergies to promote further innovation. Then, for the responsible research and innovation, describe the societal challenges that you will address, sustainable development goals, the citizen engagement, gender balance, etc. Then you will need to go to talk about the risk management. Here, I will need to say that not identifying a risk is a risk. So please show that you know all the risks of the new technology or the new project or service that you are going to develop, and you know how to overcome this risk. And then you will need to talk about the business model. You will need to imagine the opportunities of your research if you go to reach the people. Managing data. You will need to consider also the data management plan. For all the data that you're going to generate within your project, you will need to be fair. You will need to go for the fair principles of your data. You can get advice on this topic in the link below. I will share it with you also in the complementary material. Also, you will need to follow the open science principles. Open science is not versus exploitations. You will need to realize and define where your publications and where your results will be available for all the public and where not. You will get more information on this in further chapters of this MOOC. Then writing the technical part. To write the technical part, there are some tips that I wanted to provide to you. First, plan the writing process. Define the core group, the consortium meetings. Have clear responsibilities and deadlines for all the partners. Share folder and the templates and documentations, and also define the keywords. Stick to the template. Follow the updated template and read it carefully because it may change from one call to another. Understand what is required in the excellent, impact, and implementation sections, and have very clear that every chapter is different and the information to be included is different too. Also, quantify, quantify, quantify. Numbers are evidences, so please use them to provide information about your project to support your idea. Less is more, so summarize, be concise. Avoid scientific jargon, and each question has to have an answer within the project. Don't overlap information. As I said before, excellence, impact, and implementations have different answers. Be realistic, plan a realistic and credible implementations. Have in mind that the evaluators are experts in different areas, so they can evaluate both implementation, also the research and scientific part, and also business plans and other chapters of the project. So be realistic with all the implementation activities. Submit in advance. This can avoid last-minute stress. So read and circulate the draft between external colleagues and the national contact points for review and constructive feedback. Help yourself with useful tools. There are several tools on the internet that can help you to write your chapters. Read before writing and write when your ideas are clear and aligned with the topic. These are some tools that can provide you support like ChatGPT, CSpace, or GenAI. Always double-check the information and verify the source. Finally, think about the evaluator. Have a look to the evaluator sheets to understand what they will be looking for in the proposal and provide easy-to-find answers to all the criteria. Make the proposal understandable for non-experts and don't leave open questions without an answer. A good book to recommend is Persuasive Writing, How to Harness the Power of Words. You will find it in the reference in the complementary material. And this is all from my side. Thank you very much for attending this course.